Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining. Together with me is Gabriel and Philippi. Hello, both. How are you all doing?
Hello. Hello, Misbah. Hello, Felipe. Hello,
Mister,
everyone. What's up?
Awesome. So we had Gabriel in the last few sessions in the office hours, so it was great. Perhaps we start with an intro for Philippi, and then we go from there. Philippi, you want to introduce yourself? I think we have a little choppy feed from your side, but let's give it a
yeah,
try.
my camera is too choppy too. You can put me on the side for now. All right.
Okay, sure.
So, I'm Philippe. Partners with Langflow for a while now, and we test new stuff, we suggest new stuff, we report bugs, and we work on some projects. So we're here basically to help Langflow grow.
Awesome. And for folks who don't know, they have been super active, Philippi and the group, in adding components and adding flows. And if you look in the store, Langflow store, you'll see so many of the contributions from their team. So I'm really thankful for their contribution.
Yeah, me
Awesome.
too. A lot of good stuff. And I even was talking to him about a paper I want them to implement. And it's going to be another cool project coming out of them for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I think this is really nice. It's super helpful also for any of the community members, right? If you all want to contribute, add to this open source repo, reach out or feel free to make suggestions directly, or be it in the Discord, be it reaching out to one of us, or in the code base. So yeah, I think we're actively looking for any of the contributors. So yeah, with that, actually, let's start. So, you all know the format. So, it's office hours. So, it's going to be a little relaxed. We have a few topics to talk about, but if you have any questions, feel free to drop those. And we'll do a little different this time. We'll have the demos, question answers happening, but also towards the end, we'll make it open where if any of you want to perhaps ask directly any question on stage, you could join. I think there were a few requests last time to help with a few things, so towards the end we'll perhaps open that. So let's get started. Gabriel and Philippi, what do you guys have for us for the new integration, the latest? And this is super exciting, actually. CrewAI and LangWatch. So multi-agents have been something quite popular in the last few months, and having that ability within Langflow, this is going to be awesome. I'm just really excited to see what all use cases are going to come up, and what community is going to build around this. So yeah, let's see how one could build any of these Crew AI based flows, and from there we'll take some questions.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Do
Would you like to start with the Crew AI? I'm gonna prepare an environment so that we can show the language right after.
Yeah,
Awesome.
sounds good. I mean, hopefully won't have API keys being uh, leaked. Let me just grab.
Sure.
Yeah,
And
I have a trick for not leaking keys, where I'm usually working together with Cesar, and whenever we need to add new keys, he goes behind the scenes and add the global variables.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I had a couple problems with my API key, so now I don't know if I have the right one on screen. But I'll go back to Langflow and talk about. I think I'll go over these examples we added and try to explain a bit on what was the thought process of these components. And I think I want to just preface with if you feel like they are too complex, or if they are lacking some kind of some option that you normally use, just let us know and we'll tailor them as we go through like iterations with it. Okay, so we had 5 examples, right? Starter projects. Now we added 3 more, and these 5 will change as well, and will evolve. But well, the plan here is to later on get even more useful cases, not for them not to be just conceptual projects, but useful starter projects to get you way ahead in the process, right? So starting with sequential tasks agent. So CrewAI has basically 2 concepts in their crews. They have sequential crews and or even what they say is a process, right? So sequential process and hierarchical processes. The one you're seeing right now is what it does is this is the sequential sequential crew, right? So it will take a list of tasks and will execute them one by one in the order you provided them, and get you the result at the end, right? So there's a lot of components on screen, right? Some of them you probably already know, but the idea here is just to show a bit of the structure of a sequential crew. So if we start in the back here, we let's start with the components we already know. We are building prompts here below, just passing whatever topic we want to pass on to the tasks, right? So since Langflow, you can connect anything, any field and value to other components. We're just building a prompt and then passing that information to define the description of the task. So the CrewAI, in CrewAI, you define the description of a task, the expected output of a task, and you can, and also you define an agent, which takes in a role, a goal, and a backstory. And these could be, in Langflow, you can pass anything. You can pass dynamic values. You can pass generated values from an LLM, right? And the agent takes in a list of tools as well. So let's take a look at this piece here, because this is very, from all of the tasks are very similar. So this one, it takes a topic and we'll say, build a document about this document, right? Very simple, very repetitive. And then the expected output here is bullet points and small phrases about the research topic. What matters here is that this agent is a researcher, and we say to him, search Google to find information to complete the task, whatever task we gave him, right? Here we give a bit of backstory, which is simple in this case. Research has always been your thing, just subjective thing here. So since we can put dynamic values in here, we could, for example, put the history, conversation history here, or some RAG, some search results from a vector store related to the topic or to the input, and then just build a prompt in here and pass it into the backstory, so that the agent always has like the most up-to-date information about certain cases, right? So this is Langflow creates a lot of freedom in this case, right? And here we're passing this tool to this agent, and what the sequential agent the sequential task. One important thing to note is that, and you'll see the difference between this and the hierarchical one, is that every task needs an agent, because you are essentially saying, uh, uh, I want this task to be done by this agent, and then you'll say that to the next task and to the next one by one, right? Um, so this scenario here is very simple. I created a researcher, and then an editor, and then a comedian, and just said, okay, so research about this, then see if validate the data, create some, like, structure the information that was provided, that was researched by the other agent, and then uh, write a blog post in a funny way, right? One cool thing that this flow does, and like this is probably a new concept in Langflow, and I'd love to hear what you all think about it. Is we You can see here. So this task takes a task optional task, right? So this task will be passed on to this one, and then passed on to this one. So essentially, this one outputs a list of tasks that is comprised of these three tasks. We're creating a sequence, right? This makes so that the list of tasks that the crew receives uh, is in the order I've defined them, right, to be. So the sequential crew is very simple, right? Because it's just, you don't have to like configure a lot of things. You just pass the tasks. The tasks, all the configuration is done in the task or in the agent, and then you run it, and it will generate the text you define. Let me see if I can get it to work. Let's see. So, oh, my search API key is gonna be public right now. So I'll do something later to rebuild it. But let's see. So let's pick a topic. Misbah or Felipe, do you want to pick a topic?
Yeah, Philippi, any cool topic? I was thinking Langflow, but maybe something else.
Yeah.
Well, maybe something that will read through different parts of the documentations of Langflow.
No,
Yeah.
yeah, could be, because it has to be a topic that it's going to find, some information on Google, and we'll build a funny blog about it.
How about we talk about what was, maybe the internet outage, just like something happened earlier today, right?
Right. Okay. Outage is with two T's, right?
It was more than that, but I guess we can just simplify that.
Okay. Let's see. So if my API key is fine. Oh, okay. Just a sec. We have to update this. Okay.
I like that previously when you updated a block, it used to break the connections, but it doesn't seem to be doing now. Is that something recently added, or is it because it's just connected to the same thing? It maintains those connections.
Yeah, it's the same. It's because it's the same thing, and also because not a lot have changed in the components for that to for it to happen, right? Yeah, my API key is not the good one. Let me see if I can get another one here.
And also, I think it was interesting to see that some of these blocks, right? So you have the task, and then you have the agent, right? And
Uh-huh.
a certain things are required, some are optional, right? Maybe perhaps once you go through the example, it'll be nice to kind of go a little more into what are the things needed for each of those. And there was a question about like adding vectors to a RAG, right? How that could be added to the crew.
Uh-huh. Yeah. That part is what I felt a lot of, you know, uh, felt kind of caged.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so wanna let me just show a bit and then we'll talk about this.
Sure.
So here we have the output, right? Just fun little things. Have you ever experienced it now? Deserted island without a Wi-Fi, terrifying. Just a funny blog, right? What we've been experimenting and adding to as well is the logs in every component, right? So we have now the component has now a method that it's called log that you pass any information and you get that information shown in the logs. So you can log every line of code, right? And we're still tailoring this visualization here, but in this case here, we can see that it took a step. The crew took a step, and we can take a look that I need to gather information on internet outages, and then it found something probably an internet outage, the complete partial, etc. And then the researcher found this information here. Um, build build a document about this, exported output, an internet outage, etc. So this every step we get some information, and then you can see what the agent itself returned, right? So this is pretty useful. The output is here because we passed the chat output. So now going into RAG, what you asked. So there to me right now I see two ways, maybe more, but I think I see two ways of doing that. One is, like I said, through the prompt, because you can just simply pass in the input here to a vector search, get some results, send those through the task description or the backstory or goal, etc. That already helps you get a lot of things done. The other way is maybe you can have a tool that takes in a retriever. That retriever will return search results for the agent. If it want to use, it can use. That is a way you can do that. Sorry, my throat has been killing me this week. So yeah, does that answer your question, Ms.
Yeah.
Burr?
No, I think that does, yeah. So perhaps anyone can add a tool as a for the vector store RAG, and then they can retrieve from there, right? So that makes sense.
Yeah, a tool like this one. We'll update this one, but
Hmm.
this a retriever tool then can be used by the agent to make the call if it is required by
Hmm.
them to complete the task, right?
Hmm.
So now let me, as you asked as well, let me go over some of the fields, and later we'll see what are the other ones, right? So, oops, I always press space instead of opening the advanced. Um, this one, the tool also can have tools. Oh, sorry, the task also can have tools, but you can pass them directly into the agent. It's like it's one of the things that CrewAI does that sometimes gets confusing, is that there's a lot of optional inputs and there's a lot of uh, inputs that are optional in certain cases, which will break if you try to use them. If you use that, oh, sorry, if you don't pass those in some other cases.
Mhm.
So that's one of the reasons we've implemented CrewAI components with these two different sort of branches, right? With sequential and hierarchical. So now the agent is something more generic, so it can be used for both. But for example, if you pass allow delegation to a sequential task, it's not going to do anything because delegation comes from hierarchical crew. The agent also has a bunch of options here. Some of them are a bit more complex. Some of them requires some setup. For example, this one you gotta have Docker on, and it will Crew AI will provide the agent with a tool to run Python code, and then it's gonna run in a sandbox environment so that it doesn't break anything on your computer. It's pretty cool. It works pretty well from what I've used. So, uh, in
Actually,
case you go
that's
ahead.
actually quite interesting, Gabriel. So you said if we have Docker available, and then if we were to enable that option, then that block recognizes and it's able to run the Python code in that environment, in that sandbox environment, or something else we have to
Yes.
enable. Okay.
No, just like that, it will part of the activation of that flag is in Crew AI, right? It will just pull the Docker image it needs, uh, put it up, and then run code there. And
Oh
it's
wow.
a sandbox environment. Very cool, actually. Very
Yeah, that
simple
is
implementation. So uh, you in Langflow, I'm sure like we should have a Docker Compose environment be even more like expanded to that level, right? To have some parts of code that can be dangerous for agents to run, etc. Maybe we just run in a sandbox environment, and then it's no problem.
mhm.
Um,
Nice.
let me try to show the other one, the hierarchical task, um, which is this one is pretty cool.
Actually, Gabriel, sorry,
Go ahead.
just real quick, there was a question about the setup. So the question is, can you please explain why not to connect agent directly to an agent, and then that's connected again to an agent in a sequence where each agent has its own task and the outcome, instead of the current setup that you had, where going from a task to a task to a task.
Right. So the this setup we have here is let me maybe I'll try to explain a bit how Langflow works, right? And how what you said aligns with some of the things like we plan, for example. In so Langflow you can basically build anything in Langflow, right? So this what you saw in the other one is very close to what how CrewAI works, right? So we try to whenever we create an integration like this, we have to make some changes because there are things that we feel like the user will understand better, or the community will be able to connect to other flows more easily. But we try to make it similar or easy for people who already know CrewAI, for example, to understand what's happening in the flow. Right? So the agent does not have a task. The task has an agent. So, for example, in this scenario here, if let's say, for example, we created a CrewAI agent component that you pass in some description and an expected output, and it creates its own task. In this scenario you see on screen, it wouldn't use that information. So why would it have to have that, right? So the idea is for this first iteration, right? We're trying to see how we build the crew, and if that is a good experience. And as I said, feel free to ping me, to ping everyone on Discord, uh, submit a GitHub issue if you think things should be different. Because maybe it should, right? Maybe we shouldn't be building crews. Maybe every agent could be a crew, and then if I add two agents one top of the other, then that becomes a crew of two agents, and I'll just compound agents after agent after agent. Maybe I just want to have the output of the agent instead of building the agent. It's all like based on what is most useful for us, right? In this case here, you can uh, think of it like if we have a setup like this one, this can be a flow that we can call from other flows, and it will be sort of like how do I say it? Like one its own thing, right? It's going to be a small a closed box that you pass in an input, you get an output, and that it can be used as a function, a tool for other agents, for example, right? So the idea is always try to create sort of closed loops that one thing has a start and an end, and that's it. But as I said, we can change everything here if that
Hmm.
doesn't fit what we like, what the community wants, what the community how the community uses those components, right?
Hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, there are multiple ways to kind of configure that, right? And right now there's just a starting point, and if community suggests certain changes to it, then that those could be made in Langflow.
For sure. Um, so this one is a hierarchical task agent. So crew, sorry. So what this does is we're going to create uh, same thing, right? A crew, but the hierarchical crew, if you look at it, is a bit different from the other one. The other one just uh, took as input a list of tasks. This one can take in even a manager LLM or a manager agent. You can pass either one of those, right? Um, so, but the difference here is that the manager agent is the one that's sort of running the tasks, right? So if you think and to differentiate both, what you see is the sequential tasks. The crew will run each task, and it you, each task will use its own agent to uh, execute it, right? In the hierarchical crew, you will have a list of tasks again, but you'll have a list of agents available to the manager agent so that it can call them, ask questions, or just delegate the task to them, right? So this is a very similar example to the other one, a researcher and an editor. And the task right now is a chat input that goes straight into the description. Here I'm just adding some like context. Respond to the user with as much information as you can about the topic. Delete if needed. If it's just or sorry, I should have put delegate here. Delegate, sorry. Delegate if needed. If it's just a general query, like a greeting, you can respond them directly. And then the idea here was to sort of simulate a conversational agent. And in case the user asks for something more complex, then it will delegate to other agents, right? Because that's what I felt a bit too limited around CrewAI was that it's all about tasks, but maybe the task is to respond to the user. So then the hierarchical crew can fit that goal, right? Here, I always set the expected output here to be a response to the user's query, and that's it. So if it takes a few agents, the agents have tools, and the manager agent has a bit more information. You can answer general questions, may call others for help. I explicitly said that because I wanted to just make it more clear to the agent that it has to be to ask for help if needed, right? But yeah, that's pretty much it for like the difference between both of them. The manager agent can call other agents, but it might not need to, right? It could even have its own tools here. And essentially, what it has is tools for calling other agents. That's what a manager agent has, sort of the difference between it and the other ones is that CrewAI adds tools in its pocket. Tools like delegate and call agents. Right. So now let me
Yeah.
go ahead.
Yeah, perhaps one question around. So you mentioned manager agent and the manager LLM, right? These are two different. So for agent, you can add tools or add additional agents over there, and the connection, right? So does that only take a CrewAI agent, and the other option, which is the LLM option, it takes any of the LLM? Is that how one could add or attach to it?
Yeah, for now, the agents in this set of components, they only take CrewAI agents.
Okay.
This is something we're working on to get like all any agents to be passed around, and
Okay.
it's going to be it's not a difficult task. So CrewAI just they added base agent, which will allow us to create more agents around that support all of them, right?
Okay. And sorry,
Go
Gabriel,
ahead.
for the LLM option over there, does that
Mhm.
also right now only accepts CrewAI agent, or what options does that accept?
So the manager LLM, it's just an LLM. It's
Okay,
going to
that's
create an agent for you,
okay.
a manager agent for you. But the idea is that you'd have smaller models being agents, and then one bigger model being the manager.
Hmm. Okay, that clarifies. Thank you.
Okay, so the last one, I even talked to Misma about this one. It's just a bit too much, but it was just to prove a point that you can build like a very dynamic flow um, that and create. Let me go over the steps here, and you'll see what you can create. Right. So we have this chat input here, and the chat input is passing its information to many places, right? So what we're doing is we're defining a few prompts that basically tells an LLM, please create a role for an agent based on the user's input. Create a goal for the agent, and then create a backstory for the agent. And then we just compound the information. The role is passed here to create the goal, and then at the end, oh sorry, the the role and the goal are passed here to create the backstory, and that will basically create a different agent each time it runs based on whatever the person uh, asked. Well, this is hierarchical crew, so this agent here will be very specific to the user, and but the manager is the one that is still calling the shots, right? The the idea is that you could, for example, have a big list of tools, and this agent, let's say it's a researcher, for example, it won't need tools like send an email. It will have that, but it will only use the tools it needs, right, to fulfill the task. So, by the way, the task is also created here. We just say this is like, as I said, this is the same one that, because it's passed to the agent, to the manager, so the manager and will think if it needs to call another agent. But yeah, that's basically what this does. If you think about it, what this does is very similar to the other one, because you can have any agent, uh, because all agents, or at least the high probability that your agent that was created will solve the problem you have. And yeah, it
This
just felt pretty cool. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I really like this, Gabriel. Basically, in the first two examples, you showed how one could assign the role and the goal for that agent. But in this one, you're kind of making that dynamically, right? You're just assigning LMs who will then define these for agent, and then the agent can actually do the task, right? So you're kind of letting the whole system handle that part as well.
Yeah, and this will the spoiler alert. This tool, sorry, this setup here, for example, is going to be a lot simpler very soon, because we're adding a table field, table input, which allows you to define, for example, output schemas. So you could, for example, instead of building this, you could say define define a role, a goal, and a backstory, and it will output structured uh, data for you, so you can parse it and pass it on to the same, like in one LLM call, you can have those three values a lot more easily than before, right? Before you had to, do a couple things more, but we're adding this table input will allow us to better define, for example, output parsers. It's going to be very useful
Yeah.
in that sense, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think that would be really nice. I think that simplifies
And
many of the flows, right, in that case. No, this is really nice, Gabriel. There are a couple of questions, so maybe what we can do is after Felipe will open the stage, so folks can ask directly. I think there was one that was about, can we see output of each agent and the whole conversation? So Gabriel did show about the whole conversation. I believe for each of the agent you can see at the LM stage, or how would you see that, Gabriel?
For the agents, you see in the crew. So basically, the crew take let's say you define the agents and then you put them into a room. So that's the crew. In that room, you're like recording everything that happens in there. So everything that happens in there will be in the logs. That's basically what happens.
I see. Okay, perfect. All right, Philippi, let's go with the LangWatch integration.
Before we go into that, I'd just like to say that the last thing Gabriel said about the new data handling features, uh, although it's going to be much easier, you can already do that at the current state of Langflow. Like when I saw the flow, I already had my imagination flowing on what it could do. Like a really simple implementation of it would be simply using the JSON mode from OpenAI, and you can parse the output for the backstory and the agent and etc. So there already is a way you can do it with a conversion. Well, let's talk about LangWatch. I I prepared some example. Let me share my screen. Can you see it?
Yeah, I think it's a bit zoomed out. Philippi, I'm sure you're gonna zoom into different portions.
All right. So first, let's talk a little bit of introduction on LangWatch itself. You can create a free account, langwatch.ai, and whenever you create a new project, all you have to do is to set a name. The language would be Python, and then you click next, and then it's just gonna generate an API key that you can then export it or add it into your environment. First, starting making the traces. Okay, so I went ahead and created a project for that, and I also prepared a simple rag flow where I'm going to show not only the basic observability, but also some evaluation tool. So here I created a simple observed with a book. In this case, it's Alice in the Wonderland,
Philippi, if
and
you
I
don't
use
mind
it as
zooming in a little bit, sorry.
zooming in.
Yeah, just a little
Is
bit.
that
Yes.
right now?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, so I observed the data on AstroDB. Then here's where we actually gonna try it. So I made a simple rag workflow where I'm converting the question to a statement and using a simple strategy just for the test. And here in the end, I have a special component called the LangWatch Evaluator. That's going to help me using the rag evaluation features. I'm probably going to put this component on the start if you want to use it later. But basically, all you have to do is to get the search results and plug it into the rag search. So I'm going to go ahead and run it, and we see what we get on the LangWatch side.
And also, Philippi, you mentioned you had this, custom component built. Even without that, the environment variable picks whatever communication needs to happen with LangWatch, right?
Correct. In this case, I ran the basic test. So this is what it should look like if you simply use a normal flow. So you will be able to see the inputs and outputs. And let me show you. Earlier I ran sequential tasks just to see how much detail I would have, and it was quite interesting. So I got the sequential task agent here. Like you can see the text input, the different prompts, and you can see that it's using a tool. and then it went to the agent. So all the steps are logged. It's really useful for when you wanna see where things went wrong. In this case, I did have a failure in my row, but I could see that all the other steps ran, and I got a failure in the end. So this is the basic observability. But as we go in here, we know this is a rag. I'm providing with the documents retrieve, and we can now configure some of the features for evaluations. So as you can see, we don't have any setup in here. Let's give it a try. So the LangWatch's integration is most likely based on Raga's library, which is a very quite known in that area. And let's try the answer correctness at first. I'm going to be using the 3.5 Turbo 16K. It seems that for some reason the Ragas was optimized to use that specifically. Let's add some context size here and see what happens. So if you get back in here, you have the opportunity to pass some of the runs that already happened. So in this case, we're not going to get anything. We're about to see why. So I got a small score, and that happened because I did not have an expected answer here. So since I do have an answer now, I'm gonna go back at Langflow, and I'm gonna add the expected answer in here. I'm gonna run that again. So at the next run, we're gonna be able to see the evaluator running right after it gets the information. Let's see if we got it. So we got the answer correctness evaluation. I'm just trying to find where's the expected answer is. I think that might be a bug of this one. When you click it, you should be able to see right in here what's the expected answer, and also this this component generates a share URL, which is a pretty cool feature as well. Let's try to see if this one works. Oh yeah, so you're supposed to see an additional block down here saying what the expected answer is. I'm gonna fix that before publishing. Let's try another evaluator. We can let's add a new one. And as for this, I'm gonna use one that requires rag, which is the whole reason this component exists. Let's try the context faithfulness. I like this one. So we're gonna do the same. 3.5 16K is the one. And let's save it. So let's give it one more run here and see what happens.
I love it how easy it makes to set up evals and run that.
Precisely. We all know how painful this can be. Like, and with this and Langflow, the whole refinement process has just been made so much easier.
Awesome.
Okay, so let's see if we got the new one. Yeah, we got it. So now we have two evaluators, and we got the Ragus faithfulness that it considers the context that was sent to determine if it was even used by the LLM. So it's really useful when you're building those RAG workflows, when you need to determine if your workflow is actually using the context correctly. In this case, we're just sending the top 5 results. And as far as this is the specific evaluation go, of course, we cheated because we added the exact previous answer. And we got the maximum score because the answer LLM gave had an exact match what we was found in the context window in the documents. Do you want to give it a try another one or ask
And I
any
think this is,
question?
yeah, perhaps, Felipe, we can go to his question. This was really nice. I mean, the integration makes it quite easy to, I mean, multiple things that we saw, right? Just your logging, tracing, and not just that, setting up evals, running them. So definitely quite nice. So what I would suggest is perhaps there are a few questions here. We'll perhaps just stop recording, and then we'll invite whoever wants to join us on the audio video channel. Feel free to join. So I'll just open up this stage. Let's do